I want to ask you one other question. This wasn't on the list.
Sure.
But I saw it when I was doing research to come down here.
Yeah.
And so I just want to ask you about it, get an honest answer. There's been some controversy with the Salvation Army, with the LGBTQ community over the last couple of years.
It's for a couple decades now.
Okay. So can you just, if somebody has concerns,
Sure.
right? Because some people may say, well,
Right.
because of these reasons, I don't think that's somebody I can get involved
Sure.
with. Can you just speak to that issue a little bit?
Absolutely. So the Salvation Army meets human needs without discrimination.
Right.
And there have been times where there are people in an organization who act independently, who do their own thing.
Sure.
They get reprimanded for not fitting that mold and not following the promise. And so, whenever you see controversy like that happen, in an organization that's 157 years old with tens of thousands of people around the globe that it hires, you may have a rogue person who does something that they shouldn't do.
And that's who gets the publicity.
That's who gets the publicity. But Salvation Army is the largest provider of services to LGBTQ plus youth in the world. Their shelters have been providing and sheltering LGBTQ plus youth for over a decade, right? Since really the emergence of people coming public with some of those gender identities. And so if you have concerns about that, you can go to our website. There's some official responses there, but really just go to your local ministry.
Well, there's two concerns, right?
Yeah, on both sides of that.
Right. So
Right.
one concern is I'm going to be discriminated against,
Right.
So I'm not going to go there.
Right.
The other concern is, well, they're condoning something
Right.
that I don't condone, therefore I'm not going to associate with
And
them.
that circles right back to what we talked about earlier.
Right.
God hasn't called us to make those calls.
Right.
He's called us to love people and provide the services we provide in that moment.
Right.
And so, do we provide shelter to LGBTQ youth? Absolutely. You know why? Because the suicide rate in LGBTQ youth is the highest of any population in the world. And it's more important that youth wakes up the next day than that my opinion gets shared.
Right.
And I think at some point we have to lay down our personal opinions about some stuff and just love people in the moment and trust that God is going to do the work He needs to do in their life, whatever that is.
Well, we can't, it's like what I said earlier, disassociation is not the answer, right? Because we are foregoing the opportunity to speak into those lives when the opportunity arises. And to your point earlier, maybe the point never arises.
Right.
But maybe it does.
Right.
And so that's kind of God's discretion.
Sure.
Right. But we're not to just not love those people. Right.
Right. And I think that, Salvation Army can sometimes be the focus of some scrutiny on all angles because we're just out there, right?
Sure.
When you get out there and you're doing it,
Right.
you may be the focus of some scrutiny too. But at the end of the day, you just do what God has called you to do, love the people He puts in front of you, and worry a little less about all the details of that.
Yeah.
If you're doing what God's called you to do, yeah, you may have people who look at you with criticism.
I'd say you're going to.
Yeah.
And you're going to from both sides.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to have non-believers that are criticizing you for being whatever, and then you're going to have the established church
that is
that's criticizing you for walking with sinners, eating with sinners. Right?
I take people off every day, often just by existing, right? And so it's just like, at the end of the day, I'm here loving people that I'm loving, and I'm going to keep loving them like Christ has called me to love them.
Sure.
And I have to get over all the other stuff.
Right.
I have to just let both sides of that criticism roll off my back
Right.
and keep doing what God's called me to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Focus on Jesus.
Yeah.